I have one criticism. I think you overreacted on those Victoria Clark letters. Because I think you gave her publicity.
I know. Yeah, that's what I tried to tell Courtney. But we weren't in the best of mental states at that time. I totally agree. I mean that was the first thought that came to my mind. If we were to address this at all, it was just going to give them more press. But I mean, they dug through our garbage. They lied and fucked their way through so many of my friends, and they deceived so many, mostly so many of my friends and people that I really like in Seattle, that I didn't know what to do, and it's really hard to be in control of your own press, because my management doesn't know anything about it, how to protect anyone from things like this. I mean, we try, every time we've ever gotten into a legal battle, we've always ended up just paying people off. I mean, we've literally given away money to people like a band called Nirvana from Orange County, Los Angeles, like $50,000 just to stay away from litigation that we easily could have won. And I just hate that idea, because I've always wanted to fight people that are fucking with me unnecessarily, and I just don't, I don't know how to go about it.
It must be very isolating, because in that way you are a neutral. And in that way it's also quite punk rock, you get a lot of very hostile press.
Yeah.
And in many ways...
But I'm really not interested in being punk rock anymore.
No, well, I mean, I'm not suggesting you should be, I'm just saying I think that's also a misapprehension on the part of the media as well. When my book came out, a lot of people said in treating punk felt they had to be really controversial and sleazy and cynical, because they thought that was what punk was. But that isn't what punk was. That's mediated punk.
Right, exactly.
And it seems to me that one of the reasons you've had a bad time is that, I know you joked about this in the past, but you and Courtney fitted into that mediated Sid and Nancy slot.
Exactly.
Do you feel that?
Yeah. Haven't we progressed? Yeah, exactly. I mean, you'd think that people would be evolved enough to want to look into something a bit deeper than something that happened 15 years ago, and try and be entertained by a carbon copy of what happened 15 years ago. It's a boring old story.
Do you feel now that there are contradictions between your ideals and your position? I mean, is that something that worries you? And if so, are they interesting in fact, or is it just not something you really think about?
I don't know. I don't know anymore, because I know I was probably a lot more contradictory a year and a half ago, because I was blindly fighting against something I didn't even know what I was fighting for. I didn't know what I was doing, and to a point I still am. Like I said, I don't know how to deal with the media. The only thing I've learned is that I've had the opportunity of meeting a handful of journalists that I've gotten along with personally, and like them as people, and it just so happens that I know that there's probably a good chance that they're going to write a good story, if I talk to them, because a year ago I said, absolutely no way will I ever fucking speak in public again, and I'll go out of my way to never show my face again, and I'm not going to let a rock band or a handful of evil journalists to dictate my fucking life.
No, exactly. You have to rise above it. I think it's an enormous shame, actually. I feel very badly about it because I don't get sanctimonious in. I get accused of this sometimes, but I've always had a pretty high ethical standard, and it really pisses me off that people who work in my industry don't. It really annoys me. And you know, I put up with it, but it's one of the reasons why I'm not a full-time journalist anymore, because I can't bear all that shit, really.
Right. That's surprising because, I mean, you can't expect a janitor to be into his work, you know, but they accept it and they do their job. And I've always thought of journalists as people who had to have had a passion about what they're writing about in the first place before they became journalists, you know. And
they get cynical and browbeaten.
What?
They get cynical and browbeaten.
Yeah.
See, the media is so voracious. This is what you encountered. See, that's what freaked you out. I think you were sort of losing the level of attention so much you started to lose yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And you can easily do that in the media. Yours is a very extreme case, but it happens to everybody who works in the media. That the industry is so huge and so demanding that it will just eat you up alive. I've seen it happen to so many people. And I spend a lot of my time figuring out how to minimize the effects of working within this voracious industry. Iggy Pop once said something very wise. He said, look, I work 48 hours a day, 24 hours is doing what I do, and 24 hours is figuring out what's going on around me in the media and everything. Right. I do this all the time. And I do as well. Not a self-conscious way, just filtering and concentrating and tuning things out and tuning things in.
Yeah.
Because otherwise you just get shredded.
Yeah, I was on the road to being cutting myself up. But like I just said a minute ago, like I'm just so grateful that I've come across a few people that I really like to talk to who happen to be journalists, you know. And so that's one way that's one thing that I've learned from the last year and a half is to, you know, try to I mean, I think of some of the people that I work with as like my family, you know. Some like Danny Goldberg, who isn't even our manager anymore, used to own Gold Mountain.
He used to manage Steve Jones.
Yeah. He's like my second father, you know. And we've been blessed in an enormous way with a handful of people like that who work at DGC.
Yeah.
And it's just, you know, that doesn't happen with bands very often at all. It's just a revolving door of people working for you, you know.
But in a way, I think you're in a really good position now because you've got your head around the fact that, I think the record will do well. It'll do very well, actually. But I feel as though you've got your heads around the fact that even if it doesn't, you still made the record you want to make.
Oh, absolutely.
And you can live on a level.
Oh, man. I mean, I could put out, you know, Flowers of Romance tomorrow and if that's the record I wanted to make, then, you know, I mean, that's the thing that's why I'm so excited about this record. I actually want to promote this record, not for the sake of selling records. I'm more proud of this record than anything we've ever done. We finally achieved the sound that I've been hearing in my head forever.
You didn't on Nevermind? No.
Not at all. Absolutely.
Too pop?
It's just too slick.
Yeah.
I don't listen to records like that at home. I can't even listen to that record. And I like a lot of the songs. I really like playing some of them live. But, you know, in a commercial sense, I think it's a really good record. I have to admit that, you know, but that's in a cheap trick way, you know. But, you know, as far as for my personal listening pleasure, you know, it's just too slick. And I was just pretty much deceived by the studio that we mixed in, and I was so burnt out at that point. We attempted to mix it ourselves with Butch for a week and a half, and then we got Andy Wallace in there, and by that point I wasn't really paying attention. I just didn't really care as much as I had before with the other record.
Just tell me something, were you or are you a narcoleptic?
What?
Were you a narcoleptic?
No.
No, was that all just something?
That was just a story I made up for why I slept so much.
Great.
I
see that printed as fact and send me paper.
Yeah. I just find myself sleeping a lot before shows. A lot of times backstage areas, you know, because it's such a gross scene. I don't want to talk to anybody, so I just fall asleep.
You should be left alone backstage.
Yeah, there's so many people that we know now. You know, so many friends and stuff that come back there that I can't ask them to leave, and I don't want to, you know, act like Axl Rose and find my own bus or my own, you know, back room area.
So what happened on the